In part 1 of my response to James Allsup, we discussed family, economic protectionism, and healthcare. Now let's dive into Allsup's thoughts on border control, drugs, porn, and big tech. Hello everyone, this is My 2 Cents. If you haven't watched part 1 of this response yet, check out the link in the description. Otherwise, let's jump right in.
The workers, you and me, are paying into the system, and our money is being flushed away on people who get the same, if not better care, but are being taken care of for free.
And that's because government bureaucrats are getting to decide how our tax money gets spent. You can believe that everyone has the right to the fruits of their own time and labor and to use them as they see fit. You can believe that everyone is entitled to certain goods and services. You can't believe both, and we already discussed why in the previous video.
Those are just some ideas. Now, how could big government, quote-unquote, help defend the nation? That begins literally. The state must enforce our border laws without prejudice. Our current system allows non-governmental organizations and remote federal judges to set this nation's immigration laws. A stronger state, specifically a stronger executive, would be able to disregard all of that noise and treat the southern border like the military emergency it is.
So you think that a stronger executive would be immune to bribery from these non-governmental organizations? Why would it be? And while you're correct that a stronger executive could, in principle, take more direct action on border policy, it could also choose to completely open the border. Once you hand over that level of power to it, what makes you think it wouldn't do the latter? How are you going to consistently argue that the government isn't doing the right thing with its power?
What, man? You want to defend this imaginary line in the sand at the barrel of a gun? Yes, I do, in fact. And the more, the better.
Okay, then why don't you want to stop people from Texas from moving to Arkansas? Or stop people from Massachusetts from moving to Tennessee? Don't those states have borders? Further, don't counties and cities have borders? I don't disagree with you that illegal immigration in its current form is a problem, but it's only because of government policies that directly incentivize illegal immigration. In the absence of such policies, immigration results in net economic growth, as has been shown in studies by the Manhattan Institute, the National Academy of Sciences, and others. As I explained in my video, Open Borders, Market Borders, and Border Security, immigration is only a problem, and indeed only can be a problem, because of government policy. Therefore, instead of clamoring on about a strong government securing the border, why not focus on dismantling the strong government that created the problem in the first place?
Internally, a stronger state would prohibit the manufacture and dissemination of certain types of pornography and other obscene materials harmful to adults and children. So, like, you're telling me you want to put me in a cage for selling heroin and guns and porn to a consenting 3-year-old? Yes, Mr. Libertarian Man, I do want to put you in a cage. And before you ask, yes to the whole bit about men in funny uniforms with little pieces of metal and guns. Yes, all of that.
Stupid libertarians wanting to sell drugs and porn to children. Come on, Allsup. Where are the serious libertarians arguing that we should sell drugs and porn to 3-year-olds? What libertarians support is the right of people to make voluntary exchanges in which no one other than the consenting participants are harmed. If you cannot understand what you're consenting to, you cannot meaningfully consent, and for that reason, children cannot give consent. I fully condemn anyone who says otherwise, whether he claims to be a libertarian or not. The difference between you and I is that I believe that parents should be protecting their children from this kind of predation, not government. And yes, while it's true that there are bad parents who allow their children to be harmed, there are also bad governments that do far worse. As we speak, public schools are indoctrinating children in Marxist ideologies, encouraging prepubescent children to undergo sex reassignment surgery, and helping to jail parents who fight back against this. Tell me, who really has the potential to cause more damage in the long run? That kooky guy on the street corner trying to sell weed, or a government that controls your child's education? In fact, a 2012 study conducted by the Center on Addiction found that public schools are one of the main venues where minors obtain illegal drugs, and that it was family involvement that kept children safe, not any sort of government program. So score 1 for government. As a final point, I actually agree that porn and drugs are harmful to adults as well. But then again, so are chocolate, tobacco, and alcohol. Are you really so confident that it should be government and not you deciding what's best for you?
Free speech in America, as defined by tech executives and pornographers, means you can manufacture and sell the most violent, degrading, obscene, sick pornography imaginable, and you're within your rights. That's your celebrated free speech.
So long as all parties involved in the production and consumption of the porn are consenting adults, then yes, it is free speech. Don't forget that there are leftists who want to censor your YouTube channel just as much, if not more, than you want to censor pornography. How are you going to stop the same government that censors porn from censoring your YouTube channel? I need to be clear that I am not endorsing pornography or claiming that it is never harmful, but free speech for me and not for you is not free speech. If this is really what you believe, then you're no better than the leftists who are currently trying to censor you.
However, people like me and the Proud Boys can't have Patreon accounts or bank accounts because of our political ideologies.
See what I mean? You either support free speech or you don't, and you seem to think it's wrong that you're being censored, even though the people censoring you genuinely believe that your content is harmful to society.
Also, it should be illegal for social media companies that profit off of data mining to allow children under a certain age to use their platforms. If you're not an adult, you cannot consent to the data mining that these companies do at your expense.
And how are these companies supposed to verify the ages of their users? This is something parents need to be protecting their children from, not government.
And a strong, serious state would ban events that promote the sexualization of children. Drag Queen Story Hour, topless 12-year-old swim party day, you're gone. Goodbye. They're shut down and the organizers are investigated and probably thrown in jail.
Did I not already mention that it is public schools that are teaching 6-year-olds about transgenderism? In fact, sexual activity by minors wasn't nearly as much of a problem as it is until government-funded sex education programs were instituted in the late 1960s. Wake up, Allsup! Do you not realize that everything you're condemning is being propped up and enabled by the strong government that you love so much?
And now, perhaps most importantly, how could a strong, big government ensure that it's citizens who maintain power over the state, not corporations? As it stands now, big tech companies have the power to influence and actually control our elections. Google banned Tulsi Gabbard from running ads on the night of the first presidential debate. She was the most searched for candidate, but Google unilaterally forbade her from advertising online during that crucial time. Paul Nealon, regardless what you think of him, was a legitimate congressional candidate, and he was banned from campaigning on Facebook and Twitter. Advertisement is increasingly becoming digital only, political ads included. Big tech now has the power to unilaterally screen candidates against their preset set of criteria and only allow the approved to succeed. Tech companies control politicians through outright donations, and they influence conservative media through large multi-million-dollar donations to prevent regulation from ever occurring.
Oh dear, I knew this would come up. First, if the government in its current form is subject to politicians being bribed, how do you think that making the government stronger is going to prevent this? In fact, research done by Transparency International has shown that political corruption increases the less economically free a country is. And this is not surprising. How exactly did tech companies like Google, Facebook, and Twitter get to be as powerful as they are? For one, all these corporations are subsidized to the tune of billions of dollars, and government regulations make it increasingly difficult for competing companies to get started. It's no surprise then that executives like Mark Zuckerberg have called for increased government censorship in social media. Giving government increased power to censor social media will only lead to the existence of several state-funded monopolies and the legal barring of any other platforms. At least now you can still elect to use platforms like Minds and BitChute. Not so once a strong government has total control of the internet. I'll ask you again, James. Once you hand total control of the internet over to a strong central government, what are you going to do when AOC gets elected president and appoints all of her crazies to run those platforms? Something tells me saying that's the wrong way to use the power we've given to government isn't going to stop them. Alright, that's it for part 2. We'll finish up next time as Mr. Allsup rants about how he and his strong central government know so much better than those dangerous, ruthless corporations how to make you happy. Be sure to comment, share, and subscribe, and that is my 2 cents. Take it for what it's worth. Thanks everyone for watching. If you liked this video, be sure to like, share, and subscribe, as well as hit the bell to receive notifications so that you never miss an upload. And if you're a fan of my channel, please consider supporting me on Subscribestar, Bitbacker, or Patreon to receive special rewards. All links can be found in the About section of my website, my2centsvideos.com.